Hello, you amazing friends. This is Edwards here from the Rocks in Sydney, LinkedIn Live, and with Pat Di Domenico. How are you today, Pat?
I'm great, thanks, Ed. Yourself?
Oh, Pat, I am well. It's a pleasure having you with us. Now, we were just talking before. You are a men's coach. There's not many men's coaches around, so it's a real niche and an honour to have you with us. And Pat, tell us a bit about you and what a men's coach does and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's unique. When I was looking for a men's coach or someone for guidance, several years ago, when I was going through some of my own challenges, there wasn't too much that sort of put it out there in particular that they helped men with their challenges. So a lot of the challenges or the things that I work with is men with their self-confidence and their self-worth, and building themselves up by recreating who they are, and actually finding out who they actually really are, and what do they actually want in life, and be able to have that actual plan, and be able to take action on them, and breaking those limiting beliefs that we carry from whether it's our childhoods or past experiences. So that's essentially what I do in terms of helping actually men with those challenges.
Now, an interesting one is, and we spoke about this bit about this off camera, and thank you. So, as you know, and I'm very ashamed of this, I put on about 20 kilos during the lockdowns. I just lost it all, so hence why I look normal now. But it's funny, I've always been a very disciplined, focused sort of guy, but I really lost it, and I put on 20 kilos during the lockdowns. I just lost the 20 kilos. It took me like a year and a bit. I was going to ask you, I mean, I did it. I was in my 40s. I got really overweight and sort of lost control of things. And I know a lot of men in their 40s have done the same thing. Pat, why did I do that? Why do men in their 40s lose their standards like I did, which I'm still very embarrassed about?
And it's exactly what you said. Lockdown actually created that environment where people became comfortable. We no longer challenged ourselves, and we lost purpose. So, just like you did, a lot of other men and had the same. Were in the same situation where they were no longer active. They had no purpose or drive. There was the unknown of what the actual future would hold. Their stress levels increased. They weren't taking care of themselves, and then we form these bad habits that we stack, as I say, the losses, and then that spirals where once we have the actual purpose and mission of what we actually want, then we're able to achieve what it is that we're actually after.
Oh, brilliant. I just want to check in with our fans. We've got Renee Antonio with us. Renee, we love you. And I was just going to say, if you've just tuned in, smash that like, share, comment, and make sure you connect with myself and Pat Di Domenico. I was going to ask you as well, Pat, right? And this one has always really got me thinking, right? And I love what you said, because without a purpose or a direction, things just turn to hell. And what I did was, and I realized what I did wrong during lockdown, now I'm talking to you especially, is that I just got focused on other things, and health-wise, I just lost my purpose. Like, I just stopped making it a priority. I just felt like eating stuff and giving in. So instead of thinking about, I want to be really healthy, I just let it slide. And interestingly, these days I put a lot of thought into being healthy. And isn't it true? And I want you to expand on this one. What we think about tends to come true, doesn't it? Tell us a bit about that, Pat.
That is amazing. Where our focus goes, that in terms of what we actually manifest. So whether it's we want to seek what's good or what's bad, we're able to manifest it, funnily enough. And so when we decide, what is the identity that we were taking on? So I see everything as a behavior pattern. Like if I want to be, healthy and I want to lose weight, it's like, well, what identity do I need to take on to be? Like, who do I need? What actions do I need to take to be able to become that person, instead of, I need to have lose 20 kilos because I want to get into a certain clothes, or you go to an event or whatever it may be. We go on those yo-yo diets. I myself went from 105 kilos to 137 kilos continuously for 4 years, because I didn't take on that identity of those behavior reasons why I was achieving the weight loss wasn't good enough for me to sustain that that weight loss. So understanding why and having that purpose and the direction so important, and in creating those daily habits. So you take on that identity of what you want.
It's funny you say that. It's because again I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, how did I get so fat and why did I do it? And you know, what's funny actually, tragically funny is I think you just said it because when it came to health, in terms of health, I just lost my purpose there. I just lost my drive when it came to health, and I focused in other areas, and my health just blew out of control. So you're saying, right? If we're out of control, like on our health or our business or our family or our relationships or whatever, the first thing is to make a decision to make it a priority. Is that a fair comment, Pat?
Definitely, and taking action. Making that commitment and taking action, and declaring it. It's amazing when we put it out there, whether we share it with someone, how much more committed we can become to that purpose or that mission. But when we hide from it, and we only make half of the commitment, that's generally the results that we get.
And also too, we've got Brad Stridham watching. We love you, Brad. Brad's one of our great friends from Adelaide. So we love you, Brad. Great having you with us. And Babukar, great having you with us. If you just tuned in, hit that like, leave a comment, please share, and connect with Pat and I on LinkedIn and more. Now, it's funny, actually, and again, really unpacking this, right? So quite often, talking men, right?
Yeah.
We often screw up our lives because we stop making an area a priority or we stop caring about it. That's exactly what happened to me health-wise. It just stopped being a priority and then it just slid over a few years, right? So let's say where our relationships are messed up or we're overweight, right? Or we're not making much money, right? Whatever area it is. Let's say there's a big problem in our lives. What's the first thing we should do to turn things around?
The first thing I always think is we need to do an analysis on what's going on and why could this be happening. To understand where we want to go, we've got to understand where we are right now, what could be the actions that accumulated to the results that you're currently getting, then to understand, okay, what is it I need to overcome? It's like, any pain or struggle that you may have in life, it's just an indicator. It's giving us a message for us to be able to, understand something, and it's being able to be just consciously aware of what that is to be able to resolve our current situation. Because I believe we're all responsible for all our actions and have the ability to make the change, and it's having that self responsibility, that awareness, and that taking that self responsibility of what's happening for us to be able to make the desired outcome that we're after.
Now you got me interested. What made you such a responsible character? Because as I said, I made this funny comment. For those who are my age, I'm a lot older than Pat. You remember Dean Cain? Dean Cain played Superman and Lois and Clark. So you're like, to me, a young version of Dean Cain from the 90s, right? So it feels like I'm talking to Dean Cain. I'm a big Dean Cain fan. But what made you? Tell us a bit about your story before you got the Superman role. What made you so responsible? Where did this all come from, Pat?
It came from a lot of mistakes and lessons that I learned through my life. I realized that I needed to take ownership of my life and not play that victim role of my past, my upbringing. There was a lot of childhood experiences that I chose to allow that to control my life, and in terms of the way that I behaved and so forth. So through a lot of mistakes of my own, then that's where I understood that wait a minute, no one's here, no one's going to save me. It's all up to me, and I need to be the one to take responsibility of myself and where I want to go, and not blame others. So that's essentially how I ended up being the person I am now.
I love what you said. You talked about victimhood, right? Now, I'm just going to put up my hand. I was the biggest victim ever. So to me, everything was messed up in my life, not because of Edward's ear. It was always someone else's fault, right? So I was the biggest, probably a bit of a narcissist in that I'd always blame other people. I never took any responsibility. And then eventually I realized I was a problem, right? And I find it's just this victim mentality, and I did this, right? It's so easy to buy into victim mentality, and victim mentality is out there, right?
Yeah.
So interestingly, I've just lost 20 kilos, so I know it can be done. But I've had people tell me that they're fat because they're genetic, but then I'll watch them like eat burgers late at night, right? So this whole
Yeah.
victim mentality, I notice society loves making us victims. Why is that? Why is victim mentality so tragically popular, Pat?
It's like trauma bonding. It's comfort. We get the affirmation from someone else that it's okay to be the way that we are. The poor me, and then where we don't have enough people encouraging people to, for me to say, Ed, have you ever thought about, your actions that you're taking maybe resulting in why you put on 20 kilos? For you to have a bit of realization that, oh, wait a minute, it's actually me that's causing the problem. It's not that, my clothes have shrunk in the wash all of a sudden anything anymore. It's having that, for me, being able to communicate and have that confidence to communicate with other men, but also to be able to take on that feedback. That's even a huge thing for us men who don't generally play that passive aggressive role, and don't have that confidence to be able to say what we feel and what we need without feeling conscious of what another male may think or someone else.
Now, can I show off for a second, Pat? Is that okay? Can I show off and talk about me for the moment?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, that's why I love you, Pat. So you see this shirt I'm wearing, right? This beautiful Lacoste shirt.
Yeah.
This shirt is about 8 years old, 8, 9 years old. And probably about 8 years old, this shirt.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to fit into it for about 2 or 3 years. So notice how it's loose on me.
It is. Yeah.
It used to not fit me. So when I wore it, it was like literally skin tight and horrible, right? So see how there's actually ribbon there now, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's funny, the reason why I bring this up is, is that victim mentality is such a big thing these days, right? You see it in politics. You see people, again, I'm not here to be political, but you see people playing the victim, be it with their weight, be it with their race, be it with their ethnicity, right? And I agree with you, like, victim mentality seems so addictive, I suppose, because if you buy into victim mentality, it kind of gets you off the hook, doesn't it? Because, well, it's not my fault. It's because of these problems. So I can understand why victim mentality is tragically addictive. What do you think of that?
Oh, completely. It's that herd mentality. We'll go with what everyone else, what's most comfortable. We don't have to take action if we play the victim, and other people console us with what's going on instead of taking a good look at ourselves. One of the hardest things for me was being able to literally stand there in front of the mirror and be able to look at myself and be able to say, am I really happy with who I am? And it's really hard to do that, to see your own reflection, because I see that as one of the ultimate tests to be able to to see whether are you really happy within yourself.
Yeah, one of my problems was I had trouble admitting I was wrong, because it's hard, because I suppose if you've been playing the victim for a while, at some point you have to admit you're wrong to create change, and no one likes to admit they're wrong, I guess, don't we?
No. But in doing that, being able to say that we're wrong, we take back the power of our circumstances, and then it gives us the ability to change our current circumstances to the direction that we're actually after. But as soon as we put that blame, we lose all power completely.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think one of the biggest things that I found most liberating is admitting that you're wrong. It's like, hang on, I got this wrong. Hang on, in this area, be it business, health, whatever, I'm wrong in this area. I need to change. And I love that thinking. I love it. I love the power of admitting you're wrong and then saying, you know what, I'm wrong over here. I need to change. That feels so liberating on many levels. And we've got Sabina Aditi with us. We love you, Sabina. We've got Sabina Aditi with us. We love you, Sabina. If you just come in, smash that like, share, and comment, and connect with Pat and I. Now, Pat, I want to get a bit of a monologue from you, right? Let's say someone listening right now is really stuck in their life. They're really in a bit of a hole, right? They're not feeling good. They could be really overweight. They could be sick. Their mindset's not right. Or they've been single for a long time. Or they've been freshly divorced, right? But I want you to
Yeah.
think of someone, Pat, who's in a real deep, dark hole right now, and you want to help them get out of that hole. What would you say to someone in that big, deep, dark hole right now, Pat?
That change is possible, and that all you need to do is to start stacking the wins. And so, for instance, I've just announced a 10-day challenge. Stop snoozing on your life, and it's to regain control of your morning. For me, regaining control of my morning and starting to do the small things and focusing on that, and knowing that I could rebuild that self-confidence within myself, it gave me the whole ability to change to the person I am today. So it's not about making things complex or trying to find the magic pill or solution. It's just starting fresh. Give yourself some slack. That in terms of you don't have to be perfect. It's just about making progression and start rebuilding yourself, because it's you first. For you to be able to give to others, you need to be able to have it yourself.
Oh, brilliant. Love it. Pat, thank you so much for your time, and thank you to all the viewers for watching. Pat, before we finish up, please, I'd love to hear some closing thoughts from you, and tell us if anyone's listening and they want to work with you, please tell us the next steps.
Yeah, reach out to me on through LinkedIn, or you can reach out to us through our website, resilientdad.com, and change is possible, and it's all up to us to be able to make that first step and take action.
Pat, brilliantly said. And Pat, I just want to say thank you for joining us. I know you're a busy man, and thank you for stepping out of your day to join us on LinkedIn Live.
No worries. Thank you very much for having us, Ed.
Hey, thank you, everyone. Love your work. Like, share, comment, connect with Pat, and see you, everyone. Have a good one.